What up, what up, what up? I wanted to dive into a no bullshit guide on how to optimize and quickly sort and use your stash so your duo and trio are not waiting for you all the time. First things first, let's dive into the shops and the things you should be getting daily. I currently don't have a lot because I've been making content and the day just started. But simple gun parts every day. Steel springs, you can never have enough of. You use them a lot. Buy those always. And then whatever you have left for the day, use on heavy, medium, and light gun parts on whatever you have the blueprints for or whatever you use the most. And then under security, sterilize bandages if you're looking for the most money return on spending those blue credits. Those are worth 2,000 a piece and only cost 40, so per spendage you're getting the most money back. But then whatever I have left, or if I even decide to use these, I'm using them on medium and light magazines to conserve my steel springs. As far as in the gun shop, I typically don't touch anything in the gun shop, but if I did, it would probably be the hole cracker, just every now and then if I did not have gold guns to run when I'm trying to fight the matriarch or anything like that. And then in the clinic, the only thing I buy daily is surge shield rechargers because I use my advanced power cells and batteries to make energy clips, sell those for 5,000, buy these for 3,600 or however much they are. And then I'm actually making profit instead of making them myself. So that's how I get my blue shield rechargers, which I typically only run green, but it's nice to have a big burst on a shield every now and then. And then from the grenades place, if I didn't have the blueprint, I would probably buy a deadline every now and then. I wouldn't say daily, but I would say weekly. And under your workshops, if your benches are not maxed out, I have two that are currently not maxed out, make sure you go to them and track the resources that you need to make them level 1, 2, or 3, or whatever that may be, just so that way you don't accidentally disregard, recycle, or sell any of the resources that you potentially may need to make your life easier down the road. And then to keep tabs on everything that is currently being tracked, you simply open your inventory, hit the logbook, and you can see that I have everything that I typically craft here. So all my favorite weapons, their attachments, as well as my two benches. And then that way, when I see those items required for those recipes in game, there will be a little icon that appears on the lootable item itself. And it just lets me know, hey, grab this. I loot those, come back. If I have extras, I sell them. That way I'm never short on the resources for stuff that I need to be able to craft the stuff I use consistently. You can see my medical bench. I need Rested Shut medical kit, antiseptic, and surveyor vaults. So when I see those in game, I will grab those, come back. It'll get a gold check mark, and I know I am done. I can therefore upgrade that or craft said item. Diving on over into the nitty gritty. For my augments, I typically keep 5 Survivor 3s on hand at all the time. That is what I typically run every single raid with. For shields, I keep 5 blues on hand at all times. If I need more, I craft them, and I keep those topped off and repaired. For weapons, I have my golds. I have a few purples in here. Bobcats and Tempests are typically the only 2 purples that I run. A lot of renegades, a few Venadors, a lot of anvils, Toros, and some basic stitchers that I keep upgraded. I typically keep 2 rows of golds just for farming matriarch, just so I am on the same loop, but I will always have my blue shield and my purple augment at all times. And then I would supplement my weapons and quick use slots based on what I'm trying to do currently that day or that raid. When it comes to my ammo, I typically keep none on hand, but as you can see, I have a few slots just laying around. And my attachments are never in my stash to save slots. I put them directly on the weapons itself, and putting the better attachments on the better weapons, making them more expensive because I don't use them as often, as well as increasing my stash value. So as you can see, I am missing quite a bit of attachments, just because I am currently hoarding springs. But lesser, weaker attachments I'm putting on my stitchers, just because they're kind of trash attachments. My stitchers I just crank out and use. I'm not too upset if I lose them, but the purples and blues I'm typically throwing on my purples. Quick use category is where a lot of people tend to like waste a lot of space. Mine's relatively organized. I keep a single stack of showstoppers in case I'm running a Toro or Bobcat. I can freeze them in place, rush in behind it. 2 stacks of seeker grenades in case I'm getting third-partied by drones, or if I'm doing a trial for damage to flying arc, just quickly disregard them. And probably about 10 stacks of trigger nades just because they are trigger nades. And then when it comes to heals, I keep a few stacks of blue heals as well as multiple stacks of green heals. So sterilized bandages and herbal bandages are what I run. I run them at a 1-to-2 or a 1-to-4 ratio, depending on what the objective of the raid is. So I don't keep any regular bandages. I don't keep any other grenades besides trigger grenades. And then when it comes to my shield rechargers, I typically run all green shield rechargers, a full 5 stack. If I run a blue shield recharger for that bigger burst, I typically just buy it one at a time and bring a singular into the raid and put it in my actual backpack and move it over to the quick use when I have time. For keys, I'm only running Spaceport or Bluegate. That's the only maps I run. So I keep those keys. Everything else I disregard. I keep about 5 hatch keys on hand all the time just so I have them. And then these are some leftover security codes that I have from locked gate events that did not get inputted. When it comes to sheer volume, crafting rituals is the largest category, so I keep minimalistic amounts to keep myself in check. 2 stacks of complex gun parts for gold weapon farming. 3 stacks of Exodus modules for turning into Bobcats. And a single stack of power rods for the power rod door on night raids. 3 stacks of advanced electrical components for making my augments. 3 to 5 stack of advanced mechanical components for blue and purple weapons. A row of arc circuitry for medium shields. A row of arc motion cores for magnetic accelerators to turn into purple and gold weapons. Light gun parts, medium gun parts, and heavy gun parts. 3 to 5 stacks of each. Eventually convert those into weapons, obviously. 3 stacks of processors for trigger nades and augments. 3 stacks of sensors. 3 is plenty. Those are only for raider hatch keys. 3 to 5 stacks of syringes to convert into Vita shots later down the road. A single stack of batteries for energy clips as well as medium shields. 1 stack of duct tape for mods. 2 to 3 stacks of durable cloth for heals. Mechanical components. 2 to 3 stacks for weapons. A single stack of oil for my renegades. Simple gun parts, around 5 stacks. Eventually convert those into larger gun parts. And steel springs, the most valuable resource in the game. One piece of advice, always farm these late game. You can never have enough. You use them for everything. 2 to 3 stacks of wires for mods. And when it comes to the basic resources, chemicals, fabric, and plastic are low priority. 1 stack is fine. Metal parts and rubber, 3 to 5 stack always, because you can convert those to mechanical components and make basic white weapons. The miscellaneous category, obviously that's where my seeds go. I have a few snowballs on hand just in case they're never coming back. I don't know. I want to sit on some because I think they're cool and fun. And then the rest of it is just spare blueprints, relevant spare blueprints that I kind of give away to people who are cool and friendly, or I hold them for my friends if they don't have them. I just like to keep a few of the better blueprints around to give to people in need. And a little bit of loadout management to kind of make your stash last longer down the road. I personally run off a color no color concept or a strong weak concept. I typically won't run 2 purples at the same time. As you can see, just with my augment and my shield and these 2 purple weapons, my risk value is already at $70,000. So I would not run 2 purple souped up guns at the same time. The Bobcat is a push weapon and the Tempest is a distance weapon with push capabilities. So I would here substitute one of these weapons with a trash or disposable gun that I'm not as upset losing. So here I would poke and prod with the Tempest at a distance, and then I would push with the Stitcher. I'm not as upset if I lose a Stitcher and a Tempest as I would be if I lost a level 4 Tempest and a level 4 Bobcat at the same time, because I can't use both guns at the same time. Or another difference is I could use the Bobcat as my primary weapon, be a more aggressive player, push with that purple, and then from a distance I can use a lesser valued Anvil. Still max out level 4, still hits hard, but not risking as much money up front. A more balanced version could be a Renegade and a low level Toro, popping with the Renegade, pressing with the Toro. It's not about gear fear, it's more about minimalizing the risk and finding your playstyle. Do you want to be a pusher? Do you want to be a poker from afar? And balancing that with your duo and trio. And same thing with matriarch farming. If I'm risking a $30,000 equalizer, I'm not going to risk a $50,000 Tempest as well. One, I just don't trust you guys. You guys betray and backstab, so I'm not going to risk that much at a time. So I will primarily use the equalizer, and then as I run into people being little shitheads, I will use the anvil if I have to, as well as the anvil's not bad against matriarch and arc in general. Lastly, let's go over a few example loadouts, because what you craft, what you buy, and what you bring into the raid are going to be dictated by what you typically gain from the raid or what you typically extract with, right? So if I'm farming matriarch content, I'm going to load in with something like this. It's going to be my matriarch weapon, my PvP betrayal weapon. I'm going to bring seeker grenades to get rid of those drones quickly, as well as more heals than I usually would bring for a PvP or loot run, and some adrenaline shots to quickly get to the matriarch, and a hatch key, of course. I'm going to be crafting my heavy in this example, and I'm going to be buying defib and buying energy clips because I know I will make that money back from the loot dropped by the matriarch, as well as bastions and rocketeers and all that stuff in the meantime. A loot run will look and play a little differently. I'm not going there to look for a fight. I'm trying to get in as quickly as possible and extract with as much profit as possible. So I'm going to leave myself a little more room in my inventory, right? So I'm going to load in with an anvil to deal with arc, a stitcher to deal with people. I'm crafting the heavy and I'm crafting the light. I am bringing one big blue heal in case I do get a fight. I can get up quickly. 2 green heals for sustain healing and 2 shield cells if needed, as well as a hatch key to dip out of the map quickly once I get a full inventory. Something that is more balanced, I would run in a duo or trio situation, is a Renegade Stitcher combo, crafting my own ammo, bringing more heals than a loot run, but less than a matriarch run, as well as I'm starting to implement explosives just in case I have to deal with players at a distance. One thing to note here is I do run a crafting ability, so I am looting fabric to make backup bandages if needed, as well as rubber parts and arc cells to make shield cells. And that's just if the raid goes longer than I intended or if I take more damage than I intended. And lastly, if I'm looking to strictly do PvP, I'll run something like this, Tempest Toro combo with some showstoppers to be able to freeze people so me or my teammates can push. Quick note, it is an extraction shooter. You're gonna die. Loot is meant to be used and loot is meant to be lost. It's just a borrowed cycle across the board. Go out there and have fun. PvP and Arc Raiders are supposed to be fun. Don't get so caught up in how can I extract the most money possible. If you're not doing the expedition, the money doesn't really matter. And past that, it's just there to make you be a little more lazy about how fast you can load into the next raid by purchasing stuff instead of crafting stuff. I know people who only have 10k but have 10 times the amount of fun I do in this game. So go out there, make memories, have fun, get goop, and die. That's what the game is about. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate your time. Thanks.